भद्रं कर्णैभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागं सस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Let us now pray together. We offer our salutations to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord, who is the origin of the universe. Lord, Thou abidest in all. Thou art all. Thou assumest all forms. Thou art the origin and goal of all. Thou art the self of all. Thou art existence, knowledge and bliss. Salutations unto Thee. May the world be peaceful. May the wicked become gentle. May all creatures think of mutual welfare. May their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Om Vang me manasi pratisthita mano me vachi pratishthitam aviravirma edhi vedasya ma'anistha shrutam me ma prahasihi anenadhite nahuratran sandadhami ritam vadishyami satyam vadishyami tanmamavatu tadvaktaramavatu avatu mam avatu vaktaramavatu vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May my mind be firmly established in my speech. May my speech be firmly established in my mind too. May the self-effulgent Lord be revealed unto me. May the truths of the scriptures come in my life. May what I study from them never forsake me. Let me live my life day and night according to their teachings. I shall speak what is appropriate. I shall speak the truth. May that protect me. May that protect the teacher. Om, peace, peace, peace. So, dear friends, coming up is the week of Thanksgiving. Coming Thursday, there will be a lot of jubilation. People even though there is pandemic and travel restrictions and fears associated, still within that there will be family gatherings wherever possible, friends will meet and think of giving thanks. It is this festival, of course, is not always, it has some, especially in this region, some not such a good history, but I think we have gotten over it. And so let us look at certain positive ideas about this aspect of giving thanks. Today, we are speaking of thanksgiving. When we say, thank God, this exclamatory expression comes sometimes from us. And when does it happen? When do we say, oh, thank God? Thank God is when something unexpected good happens, or some certain things that we were expecting to go bad, they don't go bad that much. And we feel due to some unknown intervention, we got saved to some extent, and something good that came out of it. Just to give you an example, about 3 years ago, by the end of January 2017, a funny incident, not really funny as it happened. Now when you look back upon it, it sounds funny, but the Vedanta Society's van, it is normally parked like that in those 3 parking spaces out there. So it was parked on that day towards the far end parking space, and it had been snowing for some days, and the van was stuck in the ice. So I needed to go to the dentist, and so I got into the car. The car wasn't moving at all. It was stuck hard in the ice. And so I took a shovel and got out of the car without putting the car in P, in parking, a blunder. But it was so much into ice that I didn't think that it is going to move at all. So as I got out of the car, something happened. The car started moving back. I couldn't stop it. I tried. It actually hit my leg a little bit, but nothing much. But there were so many cars parked, the school cars, on the other side, they were parked. And this van was moving towards them to hit one or many of them. But what happened, who knows? Nobody knows how it happened. Certain various forces must have combined together. It is as it neared that cars parked there, it took a turn towards Fons Alley, that road behind. And I thought, now what happens if somebody is crossing the road at that time? What? Nobody was crossing the road. It hit that garage house there, right at that garage door, exactly. Broke the garage door, went inside, just turned in such a way itself, nobody was, no human agency or not any known agency was guiding it. And it just went in and got parked. There was nothing much in the garage at that time. Had it been on the other garage door, there was a new Lexus car parked there. So, but this part was empty. It went curved like that and sat there. You can still see later on our Abhijit repaired some of the dents, put some paint, something like that. But nothing much happened to the car. In fact, it was still working and I still could drive it without a problem to the dentist office. And see, I said, thank God, what happened? Unimaginable. It is, somebody would have gotten a very, that prize for parking it so nicely inside. That reverse parking in the garage was extraordinarily skillful. So it is, I exclaimed, thank God, because there was no human agency that was intervening there, and nobody was doing anything to guide it properly. Nobody has stopped the traffic on the Fons Alley at that time. How it happened, we don't know. So I said, thank God. Sometimes certain things that we don't like happen. But then, because of which we feel that some good came out of it. We didn't like as it happened. But then it seems there was some more intricate and broader divine plan behind it. And then afterwards we say, thank God it happened like that. It is, and I am sure, although I am telling another incident in my life not too long ago, but everybody's life, I am sure, many such incidents had happened in their lives too. So, I was in the DC area, I had a program there, and then the Swami in our Maryland center was driving me after. We both had gone to that program, and after it was over, he was driving me back to the airport. And there was very thick traffic, and as it we were approaching, it was difficult to get to the airport in time. And so I called the airlines that I will find it difficult to make it for the flight. Please book me on the next one, whatever it may be, because now I will not be able to reach, I was pretty sure. But then as it happened, the customer support line was busy. And I was, as you get the message, all our customers are busy helping other passengers, other customers. So all our the operators are busy. So please wait, your call will be answered in a few minutes, whatever. But I did not, I could not connect. And then I reached the airport, ran there, and while that the flight that I was going to catch and was going to miss was delayed. I said, thank God it got delayed. Not only that, I didn't get to the customer support, otherwise they would have put me on some other next flight. So I said, thank God. So now who made all these arrangements? No, I wouldn't get the customer service person to answer my call. Well, I did not put too many people to ask questions there. The delay was not my doing, nor was the delay of the incoming flight. I had nothing to do about it. Nobody could blame, hey, because you were going to board, it got delayed. No. So, somehow or other, that situation got saved, and I said, thank God. Just about 10 minutes back, I was cursing, oh my goodness, these people are not picking the call. And now they have certain rules that if you do not cancel it before this time, then you will be considered no-show, and then all those things will happen. So nobody was picking up the call. What's going to happen now? The DC Swami also was getting frustrated. What can be done? Let it be. Yes, let it be. So, but thank God nobody answered the call. Otherwise it would have been a more difficult situation. So, that is how we see many such incidents happen in our life for which we didn't plan. But somebody was governing, and that governor directed it in some way that it turned out to be good for us. At that time, we say, thank God, because the things are like this. One friend this morning told me that, well, you know, now coronavirus is not good, bad, of course. And then, but you can thank God for bringing in corona. Why? Certain good things also have come out of it. Like people have started thinking more about, doing things by remaining at home. Their outward tendencies, they have calmed down a little bit, and then they are also seeing this fact that things can happen any time. The uncertainty of life has dawned upon us. Uncertainty of life is always there, but we do not become aware of it. This times of coronavirus, nobody knows who is going to be the next in line. Every day the cases are increasing so much that who will be the next, who knows. So we become aware that everything is in the hands of God. It always is in the hands of God, but we do not become aware of it. Now, with coronavirus, we are becoming aware of it. So many scientists and biologists and doctors are working day and night. But see, this is an interesting fact that, and not that no pains are spared by these researchers. They are doing their best, nothing to blame them. But this is such a new thing. Their conclusion yesterday does not match their conclusions today. It is so we see that how limited is our scope of action. So it's a good thing that came out of this, that yes, we understood that as human beings, our scope is not huge. There is always a limitation to it, and so we should be humble. To be humble is important. That it is. There comes this question then, how much do we control? How much is our control? Everything is controlled by God. Do we control something? That God may be overall controlling things, but do we have some control? Well, there is a story that comes in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and some say Sri Ramakrishna agreed with that idea about, the individual freedom of the soul. It is in fact, but it is also true that he ridiculed that thought, saying that it must have been in some Englishman's book, so because of which you are quoting it. So it was, the story was that, well, there is a cow tied to a rope, and then the owner of the cow is busy, the farmer is busy with some other works. The cow is eating the grass around there. How much is the freedom of movement for the cow? Within that radius of that the rope's length, it can move. That's it. Within that, it can eat grass, not beyond that. But who determines how long that rope should be? The cow doesn't determine that. It is the farmer sees that, well, how much the cow can be allowed to go, how far. So that similarly we have that kind of freedom, but how much freedom to give us is determined by God. But there is the scope of prayer there. It is mentioned there that if the cow has finished eating all grass within that and still needs to eat more, the cow pulls at the rope. Also makes noise as if calling the owner, "Hey, I have finished eating this. I need to eat more. Don't you see? Please extend the rope or let me be off this pole so I can move more freely, eat better. Please do that." Now this is the pleading or prayers. So according to the prayers, the farmer decides. The prayer is not a compulsion on the farmer that the rope has to be changed or whatever. The cow is asking for that, but the farmer sees with a broader vision, better understanding or whatever, whether to change the length of the rope or not. So, it is even what we call as our individual freedom. it also is connected with God. How much freedom to give us, that also is built into it. So, without that, we don't have any freedom. We have freedom only as much as is given to us. Means it is not really any freedom there. So, all is controlled by God, and therefore it is said that do not think any human agency worth our thanks. Thank God alone for everything. Because the God is the ultimate doer. It is okay, we say that okay, thank you John, and so forth. Nothing wrong in that. But through that we are actually thanking the one who has been working through John. So John becomes a symbol through which to connect to that entity who has been governing John. Yeah, it is certainly like that, because without the presence of that agency, without the guidance and control of that agency, John wouldn't be able to do that. So therefore, thank God alone. Second point comes here, that after all, God is our very own. This is a point that Sri Ramakrishna stressed on many times. Know that God is your very own. And therefore, God does things that are ultimately going to be good for you. It is very own. God looks after you every single minute. Whether you know it or whether you don't know it, God is looking after you. You know that very beautiful pictured story. It is very telling, very popular. I am sure all of you must have seen it. That it is God is telling the devotee, I am always with you. I take care of you always. Look at the footprints. There are your footprints. Side by side are my footprints. I am always holding you by hand as you are moving. Look, it is going. And the person is very pleased. Yes, God, you are my constant companion. Very good. But here I see what I see. It is only my footprints, not your footprints. I was alone during this time. You had forsaken me, and these were the most troubled times of my life. At that time, you who call yourself my benefactor, you forsook me during these most trying times of my life. And God said, look carefully. You are correct that there is only one set of footmarks there, but they are mine. They are not yours. In these difficult times, seeing that you will not be able to walk, I actually lifted you in my arms and was going forward. So therefore only my footmarks are there, not yours. So, friends, we should have this trust that there is someone who is guiding us and protecting us at all times. That is the reality, the truth the God within everyone. This is a concept very common amongst Hindus, not so common, although it is there, but it is not preached very often, and that is the God within, the idea God within everything. The more commonly preached concept in the Abrahamic faiths is the God somewhere above and controlling the universe, the extra cosmic God. He controls like a person controlling a big machine. Now the person is not inside the machine. The person is not the machine, but is controlling the machine. So God, sitting in the heaven, is controlling this universe and the life of everyone and so forth. But with Hindus, that idea is not discarded, but more important idea that has been adhered to is God within you. God controls everything, but not as an operator controlling a machine, but is involved in every single pore, every single part of that machine, is inside it, controlling from within. This is, one may say, at least so far as importance goes, is a core aspect of Vedanta. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, you see Antaryami Brahmana. There is a section which is about this God controlling from within. That it begins with that, look, the one who is governing this earth, he is inside the earth and governs earth from inside. Ya prithivyam tishtan prithivyam antaro, yam prithvi na veda, ya prithivim antaro yamayati, sa eshata atma antaryame amritaha. It is, and it goes on, many verses, that it is in the winds, it is in the skies, it is in everything, all subtle and gross things is pervaded by this self. It is your true self, which is immortal, which is not confined in time and space, that is governing every single thing. And so that is what you should get connected to, that to worship God as self is the great idea in Vedanta. Again in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it comes very powerfully. Atma iti eva upasita. It is worship any deity you like, whatever form of the God that you choose, excellent. But worship that as your true self. That is your true self. And it continues further saying that if you do not worship that God as your very self, then you become like an animal being controlled by the master of that animal. You become slave to that. You become, a horse owned by a horse rider or anybody. You just become like that. that is not a true worshipful attitude. It is important, therefore, that know that whom you are worshipping is actually your own self. You don't have any existence apart from that. So, that is a dissolution of this ego into the divine being. And thanking God is an aspect of that. And so, what makes us remember God is something that is good for us. What makes us remember God, think of God, that is good for us. That which makes us forget God, howsoever pleasant it may be. Is it good? It is not good. There is a very beautiful prayer in Bhagavatam, a prayer of Kunti. Kunti was the mother of Pandavas, the virtuous cousins in Mahabharata. There is the war between the cousins, and then that fight for the kingdom and so forth. Many stories are there about it, and these virtuous ones were subjected to lot of different sorts of problems. They were subjected to torture in various ways. There were attempts to eliminate them completely, and their mother also had to take a big share of all these problems. So Kunti was having all these problems. She faced all of them with devotion. And then when the war is over, Krishna was thinking, now that the war is over, now let me go back to my place, my kingdom. He used to live in Dwaraka, and the war was happening about, say, 700-800 miles from that place. I'm not sure of the distance, but far away. So it is. So Krishna said, now I'll go away, and Kunti is his aunt. So he asks Kunti, ask any boon of me. I am now going to leave, so ask any boon that you would like. And as Kunti says, see what a thoughtful lady she is, and think of her devotion. She says that it's a very famous verse, Vipadas santu na shashvad, that always may there be calamities in life, in our lives. Let there be calamities of various sorts in our life. Let them be there. What sort of boon being asked? Normally, I would say, whatever calamities that may come in my life, please prevent them. Stop them. It is, I don't want calamities. Who wants calamities? But Kunti is praying for calamities. Why? She said, when these calamities come, then we think of you, O Lord. We think of you seriously. I mean, it is when some calamities come to us, we pray with that yearning and urgency and tremendous sincerity to save me from this situation. I think of God at that time. I think of you, O Lord, and thus you come and take us out of these. So therefore, this is the best way that we can think of you when such terrible problems that I do not see a way out of it, when they come, then, well, I spontaneously think of God. One of the devotees, I remember that incident. He does not come very often these days, but he was saying, well, God is within us. Why do these worships and prayers and all that? What's the meaning of all this? It is God is within us. Is so say offering food or offering prayer. What is the meaning of prayer? Am I praying to myself? No need of prayers. Said, okay. Now I knew an incident he had narrated of his life during a terrible earthquake, how he and his wife were trapped in a place and were just in that imminent danger of death there. And I said, at that time, did the prayer not spring out of you? And he, in recognition, his eyes became watery. Oh yes, it comes automatically. Pray, oh pray. Prayer comes automatically when we are in that kind of danger. What's going to happen now? And then we think of God. So Kunti said that is why I am requesting you to send often, every now and then, calamities, so that will increase our remembrance of you, O Lord. Otherwise you are there, but we don't remember you. It is, we do some rote prayers, there is not much of life in it. Okay, as a routine, let me do my meditation, prayer, okay, O Lord, and so forth, but the mind is elsewhere. So, but when such a very crunch situation comes, then the prayer comes. There is a very famous couplet in Hindi of a great sage, Kabir, a Sufi saint, that he says that dukh mein sumiran sab kare, sukh mein kare na koe. Everybody thinks or prays to God when they are subjected to suffering. In a pleasant situation, sukh mein kare na koe. In pleasant situation, they do not pray. And then he says, look, that if you are praying during the happy times, why will there be misery in life? Why will there be calamities and suffering? If you are already doing these meditations and thinking of God, even in so-called happy times, then there is no purpose of suffering, so you will not have any suffering. The idea is, if you are feeling the presence of God near you, there will be no suffering in life. They are not felt as suffering at all, because God is with me. What does it matter? So that is this meditation and prayers during even so-called pleasant times. So there will be always pleasant time in our life. Do you want, Naomi? Always nice pleasant time. Everybody wants. But when will that come? When you are able to do this prayer, meditation, thinking about God, even in this so-called happy times, dukha kahe hoye. There is no purpose of sending the misery to you. Misery, calamity, sufferings, it is like medicine. If you are sick, then you take medicine. I was having some BP medication for some time, and then for last some years, some time back, the doctor said a few years ago, no, now your BP seems to be fine for some time. You don't need. The medicine is not necessary for you because you don't have the problem. Now suffering is a medicine because of which we will think of God. Now if we are thinking of God even without suffering, then Kabir says, what is the need of suffering now? There is no need for suffering for you. That medicine is not necessary for you. And a very interesting idea, friends. So, this is how one should look upon the adversities. There is a very beautiful, very small but beautiful chapter on the value of adversity in imitation of Christ. And I am going to quote from that. It is, I think, 13th or 14th chapter there. It is good for us to have trials and troubles at times, for they often remind us that we are on probation and ought not to hope in any have hope in any worldly thing. It is good for us sometimes to suffer contradictions, to be misjudged by men, even though we do well and mean well. These things help us to be humble and shield us from vain glory. When to all outward appearances men give us no credit, when they do not think well of us, then we are more inclined to see God who sees our hearts. Therefore, a man ought to root himself so firmly in God that he will not need the consolations of men. When a man of good will is afflicted, tempted, and tormented by evil thoughts, he is not mentioning any external agency that is tormenting. The thoughts, our thoughts, they afflict us actually more than anybody else. Afflicted, tempted, and tormented by evil thoughts, man realizes clearly that his greatest need is God. At that time, the greatest need of God is felt, without whom he can do no good. Saddened by his miseries and sufferings, he laments and prays. He wearies of living longer and wishes for death that he might be dissolved and be with Christ. Then he understands fully that perfect security and complete peace that cannot be found on earth. So this is how when you see the value of adversities, adversities teach us much more than so-called pleasant things. This is an important statement in Karma Yoga of Swami Vivekananda, a small book, Karma Yoga, very valuable treatise. And he mentions there that the goal of life is knowledge and not pleasantries or pain. Pleasure and pain come and go. But they both give us lessons. They both bring lesson to us. The lesson can remain. We can keep the lesson given by them. The pleasure will go, pain will go. What will remain for us to take? The take home, as they say, is the lesson that is imparted by them. And then he continues saying that, and if we examine, we will see it is the pain, the adversities that have much more potential to teach us. They teach us more than the pleasant things. They are, therefore, such teachers are to be sought who are teachers, who can teach us more. One can, if we look back at our life, we can see that those things have brought out our inner divine spark more, our that latent energies and talent and all that is brought more when we were subjected to these things, these problems in life. So therefore, it is to see that these adversities are also very important in life, and let us thank God for sending them as well. Thank God. When some adversity comes, say, thank God. That is what made me aware of many things in life. So, let us thank God and thank you all as agents, the images of God, for listening to this talk. And we will meditate on this idea for a short time. And then, in case if you have questions or comments, you are welcome to present them. Yes, please.
Swamiji, there is no web question.
Good. Is there any question here? Okay. So no questions. So we will have early release on this occasion of Thanksgiving. So I wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving and with the remembrance of God. Let us thank God. Now, let me read out the upcoming programs. The programs pretty much remain the same during this coming week. In fact, because of this pandemic, we are not having any special programs. So my work has become much reduced in a way. So for that I can thank God. Wow, there is not much work to do. So it is, I don't have to go traveling and so forth. So it is. So next Sunday, it's a very interesting topic. this psychology of this gui. I and we know, So how I gets spread into we. So the psychology of that is the topic next Sunday, and there will be, of course, the Tuesday, Friday classes going on as usual at 7:30 p.m. The Tuesday topic is going on for now more than 2 years or 3 years maybe, I'm not sure. Sri Ramakrishna and his divine play, almost 3 years I think. So, and Friday it is the Srimad Bhagavatam, stories from Srimad Bhagavatam, and morning, evening prayer meetings, meditation, they will go on as usual. People are allowed to come, but they have to enter within a slot time, That is another good thing about this pandemic, People have started coming on time. So because that is the regulation needed to be made, so it is very good. So we shall conclude with the closing prayers. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao, it is not moving fast enough. Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahur Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. There will be Arati now as usual. Yeah. Breaker of all our worldly bondage and adored by all, we adore you too. Stainless Lord, assuming human form, stainless Lord, assuming human form, transcendent yet filled with love. You free us from the stain of sin and ornament our world. Consciousness is your form. Your eyes always purified by knowledge. Your eyes always purified by knowledge. Looking at them, delusion is gone. Ocean of shining love and feeling, ever inebriated in your love. Your feet always dear to your devotees. Your feet always dear to your devotees. Form our boat to cross this world. Reveal to us as God incarnate and the Lord of all things, helping us join with you. Your mind's always set in the divine light. Your mind's always set in the divine light. This we can see through your grace. Destroyer of our worldly sorrow and compassion soul, infinite is your word. Your lives offered for the world's deliverance. Your lives offered for the world's deliverance, saving us from darkness and fear. Renouncer of all lust and lucre, therefore you were always spurning sensual life. Lord of monks, you are the best of men. Lord of monks, you are the best of men. Grant to us pure love for you. You're fearless and you are free from doubting. With your mind very firmly resolved, causeless refuge of your devotees. Causeless refuge of your devotees, renouncing caste and birth. Our treasure is your holy feet, which take us very soon across this puddle of life. You give love and even-sightedness. You give love and even-sightedness to remove our anguish here. Our treasure is your holy feet, which take us very soon across this puddle of life. You give love and even-sightedness. You give love and even-sightedness to remove our anguish here. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Yet you are the basis of both. O Lord, yet you are the basis of both. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's cave. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's cave. Darkness is destroyed by your light. O Lord, darkness is destroyed by your light. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. You are the basis of both, O Lord, yet you are the basis of both. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's cave. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's cave. Darkness is destroyed by your light. O Lord, darkness is destroyed by your light. Langa ranga bhanga, these are all the sounds of mridanga. Langa ranga bhanga, these are all the sounds of mridanga. Spiritual songs devotees are singing for your worship divine. Spiritual songs devotees are singing for your worship divine. Jaya Jaya for your worship divine. Hara Hara for your worship divine. Shiva Shiva for your worship divine. Breaker of all our worldly bondage and adored by all, we adore you too. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji ki Jai. Auspicious and blessed, graciousness sublime, all noble ends you give to us, granting us refuge, all-seeing Gauri, O Mother Divine, our love to you. Creation, preservation, dissolution are your powers, eternal one. Nature's real basis, nature's essence, O Mother Divine, our love to you. We come seeking refuge from anguish. Be our Savior through your deep concern. All our suffering remove, Goddess, O Mother Divine, our love to you. Victory, O Mother Divine, our love to you. Blessed Mother Divine, our love to you. Jai Shri Ramakrishna Deva Ki Jai. Jai Shri Sarada Devi Ki Jai. Jai Shri Swami Vivekananda Ki